Amidst a seemingly tranquil city, an unusual railway tragedy tears through the night, igniting a chain of events that defy all physical laws. The ill-fated victims, who should have been at rest, send mysterious messages from the void, revealing an unbelievable truth. A close friend is suddenly wanted like a dangerous criminal, while another has his identity and life usurped by an exact double. The vortex of fate tightens its grip on Ban Fong and Jia Khan, with the clan's secret, hidden hunters, and the supreme treasure, the mystic life Red Lotus. At its core, will they break free from this wicked chessboard? Or are they merely pawns sacrificed in a game set from the universe's inception? Inside the opulent mansion on La Shaw Street, Ru Lin, with a voice as sweet as honey, whispers into the ear of Dong Luang. Her master, she gently strokes his hair, her demeanor inviting. What troubles you so? Master, tell me. Dong Luang thoughtfully rubs his forehead and announces, tomorrow, Hajia Khan will return. Just now, I sparred mentally with his eldest sister, Hang Oktu, and it seems she's about to break off her engagement with Xiao Lan. She immediately snaked into his arms, her voice a seductive poot. Master, didn't we plan everything? Xiao Lan will absolutely not let He Jiaqing survive to return to Pearl River Street. Rui Ling remained unfazed by his worry, instead flashing a smile like a viper. Master worries too much. That kid's surnamed, he is just a cripple, and a cripple with a treasure in him can only meet one end, death. But Dong Liang still felt an unpredictable variable. He hesitated, analyzing. I've heard whispers that the Hoenn Kingdom faction is also eyeing the mystic life Red Lotus, a force not to be trifled with. She sneered provocatively. You mean the young master of the Jiangxiang gang? That pretty boy would have been crushed long ago without his father backing him. How can his petty schemes compare to our Xiaolan? Then, she used her captivating gaze to reassure him. Master, sleep soundly. As long as He Jiaqing steps onto that fateful train, he'll have no way back. As expected, the next day, at the bustling train station, Xiaolan, carrying a suitcase, waved brightly and called out, Jiaqing. She jumped up excitedly. I'm over here, not far away. Jiaqing, with a flushed face, was being supported by Ban Feng, constantly praising his girlfriend. Don't you think my wife is like a fairy descending from those old wall calendars? And Ban Feng was still leisurely munching on a skewer, looking utterly perplexed. Wall calendars. What era is that relic from? Why are you so nostalgic about old junk? He said, casually tossing the spent skewer into the distance. The skewer drew a perfect arc through the air before landing neatly in a trash can several feet away. Witnessing this masterful skill, Jia Khan couldn't help but exclaim with envy, within a 5-foot radius. I've never missed. We've been friends for 4 years. How come I haven't learned even a tenth of your ability? He replied coolly. Mindset. The key is mental control. When the mind is as calm as a lake, everything is within reach. As Ban Fong finished speaking, his gaze shifted elsewhere with a knowing look. Xiao Lan appeared out of nowhere. Seeing her boyfriend's drunken state, she scolded him loudly. Why did you drink so much? But Jia Khan wasn't scared at all. Instead, he chuckled. We're parting ways soon. We have to have a proper send-off. Then, he turned to Ban Fong. Brother, you've had your share too. Call me when you get back to the dorm. Hearing this, Ban Fong frowned in confusion. Why would I call you? Are you afraid I'll get kidnapped? Jia Khan suddenly pulled Ban Fong closer, whispering with a serious expression. It's not that I'm afraid you'll get lost. I'm also very drunk. I'll probably sleep like a log on the train. You have to wake me up on time to handle things. Hearing this, Ban Fong immediately pushed him away with a look of disdain. With Lu Xiaolan accompanying you, you think she'd let you wet yourself? Jia Khan immediately hugged Xiaolan, proudly boasting, she sleeps even more soundly than I do. Sleeping like a log. Then he suddenly leaned close to her ear and whispered something with a darkened expression, causing Xiaolan, who was about to retort, to turn pale and fall silent. After forcing Ban Fong to swallow a supersized bowl of dog food, the lovey-dovey couple walked away hand in hand, leaving him alone with a chaotic feeling overwhelming his mind. Ban Fong's eyes suddenly flashed with a strange light. A terrifying vision of a train derailing in a sea of fire suddenly appeared in his mind. He knew it was just an illusion, his illness acting up again, but an invisible fear still squeezed his heart. Just then, the loudspeaker echoed throughout the station. Train number 160 will begin boarding shortly. Passengers with luggage, Please proceed to waiting room number 96. Jia Khan also turned back and waved goodbye, saying, I'm leaving. Banfong startled, snapping out of his hallucination, and managed to reply, You live well. Though a little reluctant, Jia Khan smiled and called back, You need to live well too. After walking a bit, Tiolan curiously asked why he told Li Banfong to call him. Jia Khan scratched his head and chuckled sheepishly. Don't be mad. You know, his mind isn't right, and he drank a lot tonight. I'm worried about him going home alone. Hearing this, Tiolan moved closer to him, touched, and softly said, Actually, Li Banfong is a good person. It's just that he's always a bit crazy, which often scares people. He replied with a warm smile and a firm affirmation. No, Banfong isn't crazy. The scene shifts to the Dong family's private residence. Old Donglung was still pondering. If Hazacheng really died, wouldn't the Huyen Sing Hom Lian fall into the hands of forces in Huanquok? Zhu Ling, sitting beside him, appeared completely indifferent. She caressed him and whispered, Tiolan has investigated. Hazacheng has a close friend named Li Banfong. That guy knows the location of the Hong Lian. Once that brat dies, Tiolan will find Li Banfong and naturally find a way to bring the treasure back. Hearing this important news, Donglung's eyes lit up. He muttered, Banfong. That name sounds interesting. Zhu Ling, unwilling to be ignored, continued to seduce him. My lord, you don't need to remember the name of someone who is about to die. By the time Tiolan gets the information about the Hong Lian, this person will have vanished from the world. At this moment, Banfong, in their story, stood before the dormitory of Viet Chao University, but all that greeted him was a structure shrouded in thick darkness. He could only helplessly lament that the rule was lights out at 11. Yet it wasn't even 9 o'clock, and the security guard had already plunged the entire building into the Stone Age. He certainly knew how to save electricity for the school. Banfong had no choice but to grope his way along the faint glow of the emergency lights, trudging down the deserted hallway. Everyone else had found their own place, leaving only a mentally unstable individual like himself still unemployed. Although Hajia Khan was also unemployed, at least he had a home to return to. As for someone like himself, homeless and without a roof over his head, would he really have to go back to the Welfare Institute? Suddenly, Banfong's steps faltered. In his mind, the image of Jia Khan, covered in wounds, desperately reaching out to him, flashed by Banfong. Save me. This was followed by the scene of a shattered train and countless unfamiliar faces screaming in agony. These fleeting images filled Banfong with extreme unease, and he wondered what was happening. Why did the scene of the train derailing keep replaying in his head like this? He quickly pulled out his phone, trying to reassure himself. It must be because that kid Jia Khan kept rambling about the derailment. That's right. It was time to call and wake him up, take care of his business. And then, he walked while holding his phone to his ear, his voice teasing, Jia Khan, it's your lucky hour. Wake up. On the other end, a sleepy and confused voice replied, Resolve. Resolve what? Where is this? Where am I? Banfong smiled mischievously. Looks like you were really sleeping soundly. As soon as he stepped through the dorm room door, he was surprised to find a stranger on his bed, and loudly warned, You're sleeping in the wrong spot. My friend. Banfong approached and gently shook the person on his bed. Wake up. Buddy. This is my bed. Who are you? But the moment Banfong's finger touched the person, a terrifying electric shock ripped through his mind, and the image of a train derailing in a sea of fire reappeared more vividly than ever. As his eyes adjusted to the darkness, the face on the bed came into view, a name choked in his throat by sheer terror. Jia Heng. Banfong was stunned, his brain refusing to accept this absurd reality. I just spoke to Hajia Khan on the phone. He should have been on an express train. So who was the person sleeping soundly on his bed? And what was the voice on the other end of the line? A chilling sensation ran down Banfong's spine, causing him to tremble as he fumbled for his phone, frantically redialing his best friend. But all he got was the soulless automated voice from the operator, stating the subscriber he was trying to reach could not be connected. Banfong spun around, fear seizing his mind as he roughly shook the person on the bed. Zha Heng, wake up right now. Yet, the other person remained unresponsive, and Banfong suddenly realized something terrifying. Why was his complexion so pale? His breathing so faint it was almost non-existent. He hastily unlocked his phone, his mind screaming a single command. This is bad. I need to call for an ambulance immediately. But as soon as the screen lit up, a new message from Hajia Khan's number slammed into his eyes. Ban Fong. Help me. Fragmented memories from the train station suddenly pieced together. Jia Khan's joking words. The derailed train wouldn't wake him. And the illusion of a railway tragedy. And that faint voice pleading for help over the phone. Ban Fong. Help me. A horrifying truth flashed through his mind. The comatose Jia Khan in front of him couldn't possibly have sent this message. So who was texting him? Could it be another Jia Khan? That night turned into a hospital nightmare. And the next morning, a middle-aged man asked him, Ban Fong, has Jia Khan woken up yet? My boy. Ban Fong looked at his best friend, still in a coma and on a ventilator, then shook his head. Not yet. Uncle Ba of Jia Khan. Haven't his parents arrived yet? As soon as they were mentioned, his face darkened. Jia Khan is in such serious trouble. I thought your older brother and sister-in-law would fly back immediately. Who would have thought neither of them is reliable? The man introduced himself as Ha Hai Sin, Jia Khan's Uncle Ba, and pulled out a thick envelope, shoving it into Ban Fong's hand. Jia Khan is truly fortunate to have a brother like you. A small token of my appreciation. Please don't refuse it for being too little. Ban Fong hastily refused, politely pushing his hand away. I can't accept it. Sire, Jia Khan needs money the most right now. Seeing his determination, the man put the envelope back, but maintained a dignified demeanor, assuring him, Don't worry, I'll handle things here. You haven't slept for 2 days due to Jia Khan's condition. Go home and rest. Ban Fong, though unwilling, had no choice but to agree and leave. He deliberately yawned widely as he walked, appearing utterly exhausted, as if he were going home to sleep soundly. But as soon as he was out of the old man's sight, Ban Fong immediately pulled out his phone, reanalyzing the mysterious conversation from last night. The last message he sent was, Who are you? Yet after a long night, the other party remained silent. It's probably another scam targeting drunks, he thought to himself, when suddenly the screen lit up with a chillingly short message. I am Ha Jia Khan. His eyes were glued to the words displayed on the screen. I am Ha Jia Khan. As he read, he cursed inwardly. These scam messages are too rampant now. I have to report it to the police. Lost in thought, he didn't realize a figure had already blocked his path, until a deep, steady voice rang out. You are Lai Ban Fong, aren't you? The man quickly held out his badge. I'm a police officer. I have a few questions for you. Ban Fong wondered blankly. I haven't even reported the case yet, and the police are already here. Seeing his bewildered expression, the police officer named Tran Truong Fong smiled reassuringly. Don't be nervous. My surname is Tran. You can just call me Old Tran. He got straight to the point, holding up a photo from a security camera. You were the one who took Hajia Khan to the hospital, weren't you? Ban Fong looked at his own panicked image in the photo and calmly recounted, It was me. After I saw Hajia Khan and his girlfriend Lu Tulan off at the train station, I took the subway back to the dormitory. As soon as I got back, I found him lying there, unconscious on his bed. However, there was one question that had been bugging him all night, a puzzle he couldn't solve. Even though it was the truth, the fastest way from the train station to the dorm took 2 hours. How on earth did Jia Khan get back? Trung Fong nodded after getting confirmation and threw out a sharp question. Did you and Hajia Khan have any disagreements lately? I heard his nerves are a bit off. Ban Fong cursed inwardly. Do I need a doctor to tell me if I'm crazy? But Hajia Khan's mouth is truly unlucky. He managed a polite smile. I'm not crazy. Are you? Officer, suspecting me of harming my friend Luke Tiolan, can vouch that Jia Khan and I boarded the train together. Trung Fong immediately seized on the crucial point to counter. If you both boarded the train, then why did Hajia Khan appear in your dorm? Hearing this, the smile on Ban Fong's face vanished. I don't know. You should probably ask Luke Tiolan about this. They're always stuck together like glue. Ban Fong feigned waving his hand, trying to evade the question. And what train did Luke Tiolan and he take? How would I know? Suddenly, the station announcement echoed in his mind. Train 1160. Departure time, 1750 hours. City 2024 Lacho. He slowly repeated it from memory. Wait a minute. 1160. It was train 1160. Trung Fong eyed him with suspicion, then casually dropped a bombshell, saying that train 1160, the one you mentioned, derailed and plunged off a cliff the very night Hajia Khan met his demise. And to this day, no survivors have been found. Each word from the officer struck Banfong's mind like a sledgehammer, leaving him speechless. Derailment. Falling off a cliff. No survivors. So doesn't that mean Lu Tuolan? Could she really be dead? Was Hajia Khan's curse so potent? Or did he know something beforehand? It seems he once said Lu Tuolan was deceiving him. Banfong's eyes widened in terror, but to Truong Fong, it looked like the panic of a guilty man. So he pressed his advantage. What are you thinking about? Just then, Banfong's phone vibrated. A new message from the contact. Hazachang. A bad premonition washed over him. Banfong wrestled with his thoughts. These strange messages. Should he tell Officer Tran about them? He had intended to report it to the police. But how could he explain? Truong Fong quickly noticed his subtle reaction. He offered a friendly, yet fake, smile. Someone looking for you. However, just a second later, he extended his hand again, signaling a desire for reconciliation. Wasting your time too much. If you remember anything else, report it to me immediately. I will come find you anytime. Banfong also politely shook hands back. Even though there was no evidence yet, you are still the main suspect in the case, so you must cooperate with the investigation and are not allowed to leave Viet Chau. Although his words were friendly, until Banfong disappeared from sight, the police officer's eyes remained fixed on him. It was the sharp gaze of a predator staring intently at its prey. Truong Fong stood high above, looking down at his retreating figure, when a voice called out, "Captain Tran." He immediately turned back and asked, "Have you traced Lai Banfong's recent communication history yet?" The female officer named Duke Han reported seriously. After Hajia Khan had an incident, Li Banfong only made one emergency call. Besides that, his call and message history was completely blank. Truong Fong narrowed his eyes, correcting her statement. It's not that there isn't any, but that we can't trace it. Someone is contacting him through a special method, and he is hiding it. Duke Han presented a thin file. Li Banfong, an abandoned child raised in an orphanage. No prior convictions. However, he had been investigated multiple times for justifiable self-defense. He immediately grasped the key point. Multiple instances of justifiable self-defense. A kid beating up 3 people, leaving 2 severely injured. Really, after reviewing the undefeated 5-on-1 combat record, even the seasoned veteran cop had to marvel. This kid, his combat prowess is no joke. Truong Fong chuckled with hidden meaning. A smile of admiration mixed with caution. This kid is truly a madman in every sense of the word, but the smile vanished instantly. He returned the file to Tuyet Han, certain she knew something, assigning the rookie Deng Bao to keep a close watch. As a test of his abilities, he brushed aside the dissuasion. It's just a lamb. Enough for Deng Bao to get started. Dai Dao still has to worry about monitoring the old fox. Ha Hai Sing. But as he turned to leave, he himself had to admit, this prey won't be easy to handle at all. Scene shifts to a subway train speeding underground. Banfong sat lost in the indifferent crowd. He focused on the screen, intending to check a recent message, when a new notification from Lao Tran popped up. "Hello, I'm Lao Tran." Banfong gritted his teeth and cursed under his breath. That damn old man, daring to try his tricks on him again. But then, another message from Jiaqing shattered all speculation. "Brother, don't trust anyone. They're all imposters." Along with a location to the 3-headed serpent junkyard in Laizhou Street, Banfong lost his patience, typing an angry reply. "Who are these they you're talking about?" Just seconds later, the reply hit him like a bucket of ice-cold water. "Uncle Ba, the cops, and that guy Jiaqing in the hospital, they're all fake." In his mind, the image of Jiaqing desperately screaming, trapped, flashed. They're all imposters, monsters in human skin. Standing before the familiar gates of Yuezhou University, Banfong was lost in a maze. Where did these mysterious messages come from? This person knew everything. From his meeting with Uncle Ba to the police interrogation, even that there was another Jiaqing in the hospital, he scanned the familiar campus, a chill creeping up his spine, as if countless unseen eyes were watching his every breath. Just then, a barrage of messages flooded in. Banfong, 4 years of college. One last drink. You take a sip. I take a sip. One last cigarette. You take half a puff. I take half a puff. These are secrets only you and the real Jiaqing knew. The messages kept pouring in like a flood. The first time I went on a date, you were the third wheel. When you got sick, I was by your side. When you ran out of money, I was the one who went to the construction site, carrying bricks, earning every penny to get you out of the hospital. Every word shattered all doubts. That was definitely Jia Qing. You quickly replied, "Are you really he Jia Qing? Then who is the person in the hospital? Where are you, and why can you see me?" But the other party just urged you on. There's no time to explain. The fateful train is about to depart. If you don't come today, we'll be separated by life and death forever. Then Jia Qing suddenly sent another request. "Good brother, please get something for me, and bring it to my house." Ban Fong immediately asked, "Where is that item?" And the answer came instantly. In the school supermarket, Ban Fong walked into the supermarket, his eyes still glued to the messages on his phone. "Take it back to my hometown for me. I've already bought the bus ticket. Departing this afternoon. Hurry to East Station. I beg you." The item was in the locker. You looked up at the row of lockers. "How can I open it?" With your photo, the other person simply replied with 2 words. "Just take it." Ban Fong decided to try scanning his face into the facial recognition machine, even though he knew it was utterly illogical. This wasn't his locker after all. Yet, to his utter astonishment, a locker door popped open. What the heck was going on? What kind of recognition technology was this? Using his own face to retrieve Hajia Khan's belongings, was this magic or a prearranged conspiracy? Ban Fong glimpsed a stranger loitering nearby, his fingers quickly typing. "I think I'm being followed." Jia Khan immediately warned, "That's someone from the Dark Star Bureau. You're no match for him." He then proposed a daring plan. "He's on the phone. Can you hear anything?" Zhang instructed, "I can hear snippets. You need to get closer." Taking advantage of the agent's distraction, Ban Fong quietly approached. He overheard a few fragmented keywords. Captain Tu. Li Ban Fong. Supermarket locker. He had obtained an object of unknown origin. The person on the other end asked, "Has this been reported to Captain Tran?" He replied, "I called but couldn't connect." But the next answer from his superior officer stunned even the agent. "Shoot him dead on the spot. Bring the item back to the bureau for me." Dang Bao stammered. "Shoot. Shoot him dead." Ban Fong, standing nearby, heard every word clearly. He screamed in panic. "Shot dead. Are they kidding me? What did I do to deserve them wanting my life?" Even Zhou, his hand still instinctively grabbed a few packs of spicy sticks from the shelf. Dang Bao, stunned, questioned his superior. "Captain Tu, are we really going to kill someone over an item?" But the voice on the other end remained ice cold. "This is an order. You don't know how dangerous that thing is. Don't forget how your parents died. Don't forget how cruel our enemies are." The young agent fell into confusion. "But..." Captain Tu, his superior's voice lost all patience. The final order was repeated. "Shoot him dead. Bring the item back here, and dispose of the body thoroughly." Helpless, Dang Bao could only grit his teeth and obey. Understood, but as soon as he turned around, Ban Fong had already vanished from the supermarket without a trace. Seizing the moment of his opponent's distraction, he unleashed his full speed to escape. Dang Bao exclaimed in surprise. Since when? But with the instincts of a trained agent, he quickly regained his composure, unleashed his hidden power, and roared. "You can't escape." Dang Bao shot off like lightning, hot on the heels of Ban Fong, who was desperately fleeing ahead. Ban Fong ran, unable to believe his eyes. What the heck was this? Was this even human speed anymore? In the blink of an eye, Dang Bao blocked his path, unleashed a devastating punch, and roared, "Where do you think you're going?" Instantly, a terrifying surge of energy, as if to tear the air apart, shot directly towards Ban Fong. With extraordinary reflexes, a ducked low, narrowly dodging the attack by a hair's breadth, Dang Bao still had a shred of mercy. Trying to persuade him, "Put down your backpack. Raise your hands. I don't want to hurt you. But if you disobey, don't blame me for being cruel." In his heart, there was a strong conviction that Captain Xiao's orders were always right. If he said to kill, then Li Banfong was surely someone who deserved to die. But Banfong thought completely the opposite. He never wanted to get involved in this mess in the first place. But once you've committed, there's absolutely no turning back halfway. He flicked a spicy jerky stick from his pocket. With pinpoint accuracy within a 5-meter range, the spicy jerky stick drew a perfect arc, embedding itself directly into Deng Bao's eyes, causing him to scream in agony. Blood gushed out. Deng Bao gritted his teeth and cursed. Damn it, Ban Fong immediately seized the golden opportunity, using this moment to reach the train station. In an instant, Ban Fong's figure flickered at the station entrance, opening the only hope for survival. But Ding Bao, like a tireless predator, clung to his heels. Ban Fong then plunged into the crowd at the station, disappearing without a trace, leaving only the helpless agent reporting. Captain Xiao, the target has escaped. He's entered the station. It's too crowded here. But he was met with a furious roar from the other end of the line. The train station, didn't I order you to shoot him on sight? But the agent quickly proposed. I have an idea. Seal off the entire station. Stop all trains. Li Banfong definitely can't escape. But in a secret room shrouded in darkness, Xiao Zigong, the agent's superior, issued a colder command. Ding Bao, don't make a scene. To deal with Li Banfong quietly and bring the item back here. After you kill Li Banfong, I'll be the one to send you on your way. A perfect play. A neat and tidy end. Meanwhile, Banfeng got his ticket, but upon seeing the information for train 1160, he couldn't help but text a question. Didn't this train already have an accident? Jia Qing immediately reassured him. The incident had been resolved, and the line was back to normal operation. He temporarily calmed down and continued to ask, "Where is gate 96? Jia Qing immediately directed him to the second waiting hall, a deserted and peculiar place. He had to pass through a damp tunnel next to the restroom. As soon as he entered, a thick darkness enveloped him, but trusting his friend, he continued to walk in the dark. He was unaware that with each step he took deeper, eerie purple lightning bolts would twist and disappear behind him. A moment later, a faint light appeared at the end of the tunnel, and he joyfully exclaimed, "The exit is here." But he didn't know that he was about to step into a completely different world. The moment he stepped out of the tunnel, Banfeng was stunned. Time seemed to stand still. The passenger's attire, the antiquated steam train, everything felt like a scene from the previous century, eerily realistic, leaving him utterly bewildered. Where was he? Before boarding, Jia Kang called to remind him, "Bro, did you buy any food? This train doesn't serve food." Banfeng was furious. "Why didn't you say so at the supermarket?" Yu Yerk, the voice on the other end, quickly explained. "The situation was too urgent then, so I forgot. Once you're on the train, absolutely do not leave your carriage." Hearing this, Banfeng could only sigh in exasperation. Just then, a kind-faced elderly woman approached, offering him noodles. "Young man, hot instant noodles here. 4 yuan a box." Banfeng looked at the noodle box and thought to himself, "Isn't this a lifeline, like rain during a drought?" He declared generously, "This journey is 2 days long. Give me 10 boxes." But at that moment, station security guards rushed over, shouting, "Who allowed you to sell here? Everything is confiscated." With that, he reached out to snatch the noodle box, but Banfeng was faster, blocking his hand. "Are you seriously trying to rob someone in broad daylight?" He shamelessly spun a tale that left the two guards speechless. "This is my auntie too, bringing me noodles to see me off. Is that not allowed?" Then, he grabbed the noodle box and led the old woman away. To everyone's astonishment, before boarding, Banfeng slipped money into the old woman's hand. "Aunt, hi. It's fine to see me off here. I'll get on the train when it leaves." He waved goodbye friendly. "I'm leaving now." The old woman smiled back. "Take care, young man." As soon as the train disappeared, a group of people in black appeared right where Banfeng had been standing. The arrival was Xiao Jigong, who ordered his subordinate, Deng Bao, to act. "This is your last chance." Deng Bao gritted his teeth. An idea flashed. The last chance to kill Li Banfeng, or the last chance Captain Xiao gave me. But just as he was about to act, a hand was placed on his shoulder, stopping him. That hand belonged to Tran Trongfeng. "Wait, young man. Don't rush." The agent was surprised. "Captain Tran." Chi Chong disagreed. "Captain Tran, Li Banfeng is fleeing with contraband. This is our only chance to catch him." Hearing this, Truongfeng let go. "That makes sense. You go. We'll wait here for your good news." Only then did he respond with satisfaction, but Truongfeng reminded him of a fatal detail. Banfeng received the item from Fuke Tin. Having Dang Bao act right in front of her, wouldn't that be sending him to his death? Dang Bao turned pale upon hearing this. "To my death." Captain Xiao clearly knew this, yet he still ordered me to act, but Chi Kong remained stubborn. "That item is too important. We have to take the risk." He stepped forward angrily. Am I to bear all the risk alone? Seeing the tense situation, Trongfang stepped in to mediate, letting the item go to where it needs to go. Isn't that also a good outcome? Qikong immediately retorted. Banfang is just an ordinary person. Going to La Chao Street is like suicide. Truongfang interrupted. Then you go. I won't stop you anymore. Trongfang secretly sensed the aura Fuke Tin left on Banfang. Young man, perhaps you will reach La Chao Street safely. But who knows if you will still be yourself when you return. Meanwhile, Banfang had found his way to car number 7 of train 1160. A surprisingly luxurious train car. Immediately after, the mechanical voice of the attendant echoed over the loudspeaker. Welcome to train 1160. Please do not wander around. First-time passengers on this train, please pull the curtains tight. Absolutely do not look out the window. Remember, do not open the window. Aside from the ticket inspector, no one will bother you. If unnecessary, absolutely do not let strangers into your car. We wish you a pleasant journey. As soon as he returned to his seat, Banfang leaned back and sighed. I'm exhausted. This sleeping compartment is way too extravagant. No sooner had he spoken than he received a message from Jia Khan. Brother, you absolutely must follow all the rules on the train. Banfang quickly asked. What's going on? Tell me. Jia Khan only replied, I'm locked up in Medicine King Gully. Wait until you come to my house. Then we'll talk in person. Banfang continued to press. What was in that package? Jia Khan immediately changed the subject. You're tired today. Get some rest early. He was dead tired, but still couldn't help but wonder about that mysterious item. Captain Xiao said it would kill a lot of people. So what exactly was it? A moment later, the loudspeaker blared again, approaching Three-Headed Serpent Station. Passengers, please prepare your belongings and disembark. But as Banfang drifted off to sleep, a mournful and insistent knocking suddenly echoed from outside his door. That sound startled him awake, giving him goosebumps all over. He quickly sat up, listening to the soft, pleading voice from outside the door. Brother. Oh brother. Please open the door. Just let me in for a little while. Even just for a moment. If you want to know what's knocking on Banfang's door, don't forget to subscribe to the Miss Manhwa channel for the next part. He muttered to himself in a panic. How does she know I'm a man? I haven't even shown my face outside this damn car. After a few seconds of silence, the mournful pleading voice rang out again, even more chilling than before. Uncle, I beg you, please open the door. At the same time, a hoarse male voice roared. Kick the door down, that bastard won't open it. Then, a chillingly clear child's voice joined in. Brother, you're a good person. Please open the door. Instantly, a cold dread ran down Banfang's spine. Women, children, Ava men. The train was stopping, yet they wanted to enter his carriage. The loudspeaker had warned them absolutely no opening the door for strangers. Just as the situation reached its peak chaos, a conductor's voice boomed authoritatively. You've reached your stop. Get off the train immediately. Banfang secretly breathed a sigh of relief. His last savior had finally arrived. Suddenly, all the chaotic noises from outside abruptly ceased. As if choked by an invisible hand, Banfang scratched his head, thinking to himself, so it was just a bunch of fare dodgers. I thought I was about to be robbed. A few seconds later, the departure announcement sounded, and the train continued its journey. The next station was Haikat Lin. Banfang closed his eyes, thinking, finally, some peace and quiet. But he was dead wrong. Just as he relaxed, a skeletal hand with sharp claws suddenly appeared outside the window. It frantically pounded on the glass, and the woman's mournful voice from earlier echoed, Let me in. Hurry and let me in. Banfang jumped, his heart leaping into his throat. While the train was speeding along, this woman was clinging to the roof. She must truly be insane. The voices of the others also simultaneously screamed, Let us in now. Banfang frantically covered his ears, his entire body trembling at the horrifying scene before his eyes. An unbearable feeling of discomfort surged within him. He gritted his teeth. What? What in the world is happening? The back of his neck suddenly tingled, a disgusting sensation as if something was about to sprout from his flesh. Banfang frantically clawed at it until it bled. Even more terrifying, two hazy specters unexpectedly appeared, hovering right behind him, whispering gruesome things. He looked outside, seeing a three-headed creature pressing its face against the window, staring intently at him. Where in the world is this place? Whose are the two voices whispering in his ear? And why? Why is there a three-headed monster right outside? While Banfong was frozen in terror, the creature roared, "Let us in. Hurry." Fortunately, the attendant's voice rang out like a savior. "Passenger, you've reached your stop. Please disembark." But the three-headed monster stubbornly refused. "I'm not getting off. I'll buy an extra ticket." "I definitely will." With no other choice, the attendant used a long pole to block it. It thrashed and screamed, "I have to go to High Cat Lin. I can't get off at Three-Headed Serpent." Finally, a divine strike hit its hand, causing it to painfully let go and fall back. It was left behind in the darkness, only its desperate screams echoing. "I'll buy an extra ticket." After a while, the loudspeaker announced, "The train has departed Three-Headed Serpent." Banfong gasped. It's over." But he couldn't forget the horrifying feeling from earlier. Why did he have the urge to grow 3 heads? Could the three-headed serpent be a cursed land, capable of transforming people? So why does this train still stop there? And who is the peddler that monster mentioned? Or rather, what is it? Countless questions gnawed at his mind. The peddler was gone. Why did he want to go to High Cat Lin? What exactly was train 1160? Banfong hastily pulled out his phone to search. But the results that appeared made him break out in a cold sweat. He was stunned into silence. There was absolutely no information online about train 1160. Not even the derailment accident Old Tran mentioned existed. Such a horrific accident. How could there not be a single piece of news? Could it all just be a lie from Old Tran? The next day, the train arrived at High Cat Lin station. The familiar hawking voices echoed outside. "Fried dough sticks. Hot soy milk here." Banfong sat up, rubbing his eyes. A gnawing hunger suddenly struck, tearing at his insides. He fumbled in his pocket, intending to buy 2 tea eggs. But then a terrifying memory flashed. No. The loudspeaker had warned not to open the windows. What if whatever was outside was like the one at Three-Headed Serpent? Finally, reason triumphed over hunger. Banfong decided to eat noodles. Instant noodles were still the safest bet. While eating, he checked his phone, but it had completely lost signal. He wondered how Jia Qing was doing. Whatever. He'd worry about it after he ate. After finishing, Banfong leaned back in his chair with satisfaction. Never had instant noodles tasted so good in his life. But no, he had clearly eaten a whole box. Why? Why was he still feeling so incredibly hungry? He hastily opened the second box, then the third, the fourth. His hunger grew more frantic. Banfong tore open the instant noodle boxes in a rush. Unable to bear it any longer, he decided to eat the noodles raw, chewing them ravenously like a wild beast. It felt like 100 hands were clawing at his insides, forcing him to eat. Eat more. Eat endlessly. Just then, the loudspeaker announced the train had departed, High Cat Lin. And Banfong suddenly felt tense. As soon as the train left the station, the terrifying hunger abruptly subsided. Perhaps because he had left the boundaries of High Cat Lin, Banfong looked at the nearly empty noodle boxes, unable to believe his own appetite. Had he really eaten 8 boxes of noodles? As soon as he spoke, a wave of nausea hit him, and he retched repeatedly. Suddenly, the message notification chimed. Banfong nervously opened his phone, reading the address Jia Khan sent. Medicine King Alley, Li Alley, Bai Fuang Street, Xuantu Lane, number 21. He immediately texted back in panic. "Where exactly is your house? Why is there a 3-headed monster here?" But there was no reply. Medicine King Alley, High Cat Ridge. These places didn't exist on any map. The night on the train was eerily silent. All evening, Jia Khan didn't reply to the messages. Banfong was dejected, and stopped bothering to reply. Suddenly, the train stopped. Banfong panicked. "Are we there yet?" The ticket said we wouldn't arrive until 7 tomorrow morning. A mechanical voice announced again. "The train has encountered a malfunction and will be temporarily stopped. Passengers are advised not to leave their compartments. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience." It was pitch black all around. Banfong fumbled for the light switch, but it was useless. The lights were broken too. He pulled out his power bank. Thankfully, he had brought this along. With excitement, he plugged it in, telling himself he had to charge his phone quickly. But no, the ship had cut off all power. Even the outlets were useless. He stared at his dying phone. The strange events of the past few days were enough to make 100 horror movies. Finally, Banfong slumped his head onto the table in despair. It's over. No map. No phone. How will I find Jia Qing's house? If you're curious about what awaits Banfong at the Medicine King's Cove,